we are still making a heap of money. We are making something like 500,000 week gold or whatever it is a week. It's just gone down a little bit, but it is still a lot of money. You can see we've got $127 million. I think with all this money, I should start on a massive project. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of City Skylines. We're in the city of Springfield, or a new name to be found soon. I am going to be doing a heap of work today. Now over here, you might notice I've been starting work on a new section of the town. I have renamed some of the districts, or suburbs as I'm going to call them, if I can just figure out how to zoom in and angle up. There we go. So we've got the suburb of Hawthorne down here. We've got Princeton down here. I'm not entirely satisfied with that name. And then Mount Mitchell, which is this bit here and coming down to here. So a few suburbs yet to come. So I'm not quite sure of the names which I want to do, but I think I can get more soon. Now, one thing I'm not entirely happy with is the density limits of these things. I didn't particularly want high buildings, but I did a bit of a test once, and if I zone it so there's no high density buildings and no high rises, then all of this would start destroying and I'd lose a whole lot of population, which, is not particularly what I want. So I'm just guess I'm gonna have to stick with it for now, I guess. So we'll see what happens. But then again, I suppose people right here wouldn't particularly want high rises next to them. Oh well, it's just something we'll have to deal with. But as I said at the top of the episode, we do want to get ourselves a whole new project today, and today we're going to be doing a lot of the public transport. As you can see, I'm only doing about 7,000 or so citizens per week and about 1,600 on the tourists. I have actually got, where is it? I do have, where is it? I do have public transport turned off, so that means that they'll still be paying, but I think since I'm making so much money, I don't particularly need that. So everyone gets to use these tickets for free, including, well, maybe not the tourists, and it isn't going to be putting too much of a dent in my income, because if we look over here, we're spending probably about, making it about, well, we're making a minus 160,000 or so, and we're only getting about 12,000 maybe, so that's only going to put about 12,000 dent in our income, at least for the time being. But of course, once we start getting our plane system in, our intercity buses and our buses and our metro and our trains, we're all going to be having a rather big jump in expenses. So what I'm generally thinking with the public transport is to have a massive airport somewhere around here. I've been trying to fiddle around to see exactly where it'll fit, and it's not easy to fit it in here. But then I'm going to have, if I can find it again, a train station hub around here with lines going into this general public area, this area over here, possibly into Ashgard, and then into further areas. If I just zoom out, because I'm planning to have a rather large population swathe through here near forestry and Victoria Oil and so on. So generally everything around here, everything here is going to be population, all of that will be population. So what I need is a good, very good public transport system to take everyone everywhere. So it may need a rather large system. So if I can just pop the airport first, where is it? Where did it go? Somewhere around here, I think. That one? No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Somewhere around here. I'll find it. And there we go, we've got a little airport here. It's a metro airport, so that does mean it's got some metro lines. It doesn't have any train stations though, proper train stations like these ones, but I'm sure we should be able to cope. Is this, no, that's, that one, I think, the bottom one looks to be train station, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. And this one is a metro on top, so that is going to be useful. So what I want, the overall aim here, is to be able to provide a train station in this area here, train station somewhere, a couple train stations in here, and spare ones here. So each of them are going to probably be using, if I can quickly find it, either this one, or just pop it down so you can see somewhere. There's one. If I can actually place it, that is. So like that, so they all will have enough lines for me to go in and out. So there'll be one of those somewhere in here that will lead to each of the other 6 hubs. And each of the train stations will instead have a area where you can swap over to these, and then there'll be metros all over the place. So the idea being metro will take you to a train station, which will take you to where you need to go, which is hopefully a little bit easier. And I think that's a metro there as well, which would be helpful if we can get it. Metro. No, that's not a train line, this is a metro. Definitely a metro, so that is going to be useful as well. Right, so I'm really hoping that this little setup with the airport here and the little walking path through here is going to work. So what I'm going to do is get this train line into here, which will be the only one accepting intercity trains, and then this will have to go to its various locations. So it's a little bit of setup still yet to go, but I'm generally thinking the lines with going both ways. So one will come in, and then at least 6 of them will coming out the south. So one into here, and then one into here maybe, and then one into here, and so on and so forth. So quite a lot of setup to go, but for the time being, let's get our train lines. There it is, and let's select this one. It needs to go straight out over here and into here, and yes, it can accept intercity trains, so that should work. So this is kind of a hub, and they're going to be mini hubs all the way through here, so still thinking on how it's exactly going to be set up. But for the most part, I'm thinking, yeah, through here will be something, and I might get rid of the highway that's still running underneath here, because it's just a little bit annoying to have that there. We'll see what happens. Okay, so it's been a little bit of time since I put this in, and I did actually have to go back in time because the game crashed a little bit, but never mind that. We've got ourselves a metro airport with a little multi-platform station and a line coming in, which probably could be improved a bit more. I also have put in a metro line, if I go like this, going all the way around here. So that means any workers that live, say, over here or over here will soon be able to hop on the train to get to wherever they need to go. I'm not yet sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm starting to think a big station through here, a couple of lines, and then one will come from this area into it, and one will come from this area and come down, and then the 2 lines will come through, go into Ashgard and so on, and possibly south into here. So there needs to be at least one hub station, and I'm thinking either here, down here in this little unused section is probably a good idea. Now, one of the other things I want to do as well is possibly rip up all my metro stations and redo them, either in loops, which may be better, or just straight lines, which I'm not entirely sure. We can see here that there's still a fair bit of coverage that we're not doing, most especially down here, but the metros do take a lot of time and space and a lot of building, and I'm not particularly keen. You can see here, even though we've got 3 lines and one of them is empty, we just look at them. Come on. If we just look at them... Okay, maybe that wasn't the best idea. But if we look at, say, this one, which I think is one of the purples, we can see, if I can drag it up into the screen a bit more, we can see that barely anyone is using it. And that could possibly be a factor of us not having the the free public transport earlier, but I'm not yet 100% certain. So it may be better to rip it up and do one giant loop through here, or a couple of loops, say 1, and have them link into this theoretical hub over here, and then do the same with Lakeside. Let's do a few things I'm weighing up here. If we're looking at our most commonly used metro lines, however, we're looking at this one, which has, I've had to put on the 600 ones, which has a lot of passengers trying to get from here to here, and then I've got the most passengers trying to get down into here, which is, you can see a lot of passengers on that one, and then theoretically using that. So what that tells me is that we need a very, very big train going between here and Make My Goods and South Business and beyond. So that's where a big train line would do rather than a metro, because the metros can only carry so much. You can see I've also got an empty line here, which... Actually, wait a minute. So we've got this line is going straight between South Business and here. So it's carrying all the stuff between Lakeside and South Business, and then we've got this one, which was theoretically going to our airport, which is no longer in business. And so we do need to get rid of that line there. Where is it? That one. Delete line, which is going to make a whole lot of people annoyed. But never mind that. We can get rid of all of that and continue to work on the Metro Evolution. I've been doing a fair bit of thinking, and I think I'm finally getting close to what I want to do. So I'm going to have a rather mega hub station over here with the metros or possibly normal trains heading through here, which, let me just check how big this thing is. It is about 6 squares, so there's going to be a couple of metros going through here, collecting all the passengers and dumping them at a single train station. Those train stations are going to go to here, the airport, to Rockhampton and Animal Farm, and of course into our station over here. Now we're going to have a hub over here that deposits train going, well, it's going to have metros which service Lakeside, Northern Business, Aspen River, and Aspen Junction. And then it's going to have train stations, train lines heading over to Eastwatch and Ashgard, and of course we're going to have metros going through there. I think I'm going to also do buses as well, to try and get all the people on those things. What it does mean is, if I go into my public transport tab, it does mean that I can probably get rid of this one here, because all this one does is it sends, it sends a line into here which does services those, it sends a line down here which is basically unserviced, it services this one down to here, which I thought I got rid of earlier, and it's got an unused line which goes to here, which then services this. So basically what I'm saying is this one can come out. So it's got an orange line which heads, it goes around, which I don't really need, I think. If I can redo my tram lines as well, my trolley buses, which you can see there, it's not really used. So I can probably get rid of that one, or a few others. So yeah, there's a fair bit through here. And then the Northern Business one is probably not a bad one to keep. But yeah, there's quite a few things here I want to do. This one over here I'm possibly going to keep, but I'm not yet sure. Then I want to redo all of these lines, because you can see they're basically unserviced. And these ones here are basically, that one's not too bad, but this one over here is not used as much, except for that station, which is of course next to our huge hubs here. So there's quite a bit yet to do. And of course, we also want to expand our population all the way around here, possibly up here and through here. So that is going to be a lot of people serviced by a number of train lines. So there's nothing better to do than to get started with it. What I'm going to do here as well is also going to affect future expansions, because what I'm planning as well is getting rid of Trash Town, or at least moving Trash Town to somewhere else, possibly over here. It's going to have really good freeway connections though, and then expanding this area, so it's all going to be people. I'm possibly going to get rid of this highway here, which future plans, and then have this highway here maybe being the main one. There's probably a few things I need to do. I probably need to figure out a little bit more, because this highway here is then going to have to carry everything this one is, and it's not very well connected, so it might need me getting rid of a few bits over here, which is rather populated with big things. So yeah, there's quite a lot of things to do, but I think I'm going to start it on ripping up the metro, at least what that one is, and redoing these ones, and getting of course the train stations and lines in. I spent a little bit of time since the last clip organising this little station, so I've got myself a multi-platform train station as well as a metro plaza, which I probably don't need. But anyway, this line will currently just goes up to here, which is hopefully going to get a bit of traffic. I do need to remember to set up a line. And then I've got, if I can go into here, I do have a couple of lines, one going counterclockwise and one going the other way, and just one going straight through the middle, which I think will hopefully cut down the amount of people. I probably could put one in here, but that's probably a little bit too close to the rest. So I have spaced out these a little bit more, so hopefully that these not so many places that people will be trying to get to walk, and so hopefully these will get a little bit more. Alright, let me just set up this other line. No, not that one. That one from, I do need to from here all the way out to, no, okay, create a line, come down to here. I want you to come in on the left line, if possible. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter since it's only going to one way anyway. And that one can come back up to here and complete that. So that one is now complete, and I'll let the game run for a little bit while I build the other ones, and we'll see what happens. And that's my first. This one is Aspen 2 Rock 1. So that hopefully will get a bit of traffic and we can keep building. I'm having a look at these lines over here in part of a little review, and I'm seeing not a lot of people. Like, this train here is definitely depositing people from over here, but it isn't really doing too much to get people around here. So not many people, as you'd expect, are actually wanting to get around from here to here and so on and so forth. So all it's really doing is just going around. I'm going to watch it for a little bit. Okay, you can see that. Oh, wait, there's a passenger there. That's weird. It may need another couple more people, but you can definitely see this one is not building and it's not going down. So this thing is just going round and slowly dropping off. So I think he had about 50 and you can see 16 got off there. So it probably needs a little bit of a change at some point, but it is working. And I wonder how it'll be when I get this lot in to send a direct, either a direct line or a single line to here and then back out. So quite a little bit more building, but I think I need to get my nut line over to this area in here next, which is going to be a little bit tricky since it does go over a river, and I'd like to do it as close as possible to over here if I can. So let's get building. I'm probably going to regret this one later with putting the train station right here along the main road, but it really doesn't have anywhere else to go. I could put it over here, but I do want it on the same side so people can just transfer between everything. Okay, let's see what happens when I get this. No, that's not what I want. I want a train station, train line. Is that a train station? I want a train line from... Okay, let me get this in. I don't think this is working. Okay, there we go. One from here to go all the way across to here, and then back. And then I think I'll make the orange ones the long distance train. So let's complete that and say that one is it is at least for now Aspen to Mount Side, I think, for the time being, and we'll see how many people use that. It should be a fair number because it is our biggest train line between here and here, and hopefully our metros will be carrying a fair bit of the cargo to here. I'm still going at this and I'm really annoyed that I've had to rebuild this line. It just didn't want to do anything for me, and I think I'm going to have to rebuild this one as well, which is a little bit annoying, but it does give me the opportunity to rebuild the entire system and make it a little bit more efficient than it used to be. Okay, yet another update video, and I've got myself new lines over here. So I've got myself a line from the last one on the right coming across to here, and it now serves this, and I think it's actually starting to work very well. So if we just click that line, we can see quite a few trains. I actually had to change up to a different train, the Extrapolis over here. Yet another train that is found in my city. If we if we also come over here, we've got one train going, or one metro going in one direction, which I think is enough, and it shouldn't need too many more. We also have another one over here, which is doing the same thing. Now, I did think, do I extend the railway line, not the metro, out here, or do I just go another second line? And I'm thinking get a second line going through. So I do want at least one to come over here, and one to come over here. So 1 and 2, if we go over here, 1 and 2, so that third one at the very least needs to come down to here, which would leave, if I'm thinking about it, let's see, it would leave 4 and 5 to go southward if I ever need more. So 4 and 5 could come here and here if need be. So that should work pretty well, unless, yeah, I think that would work pretty well, because we do have hub stations around here somewhere. I might need to rebuild this one because I'm not exactly sure it's going to work particularly well for the lines over here and if we want to expand them. So yeah, a little bit more thinking. I do also want to rebuild these ones because you can see they don't go far enough and they're possibly a little bit too close. If we look at them, you can see A lot of them don't have a lot of people waiting, and the trains aren't very full. Same with this one. And same with this one, if we look at it, and same with this one. So they're probably just a little bit too close, so that's going to require a little bit of rebuilding as well. So this one might need to go, and it might need to be replaced over here as well, with a little bit of thinking. Now I think I'll focus on this southern area first, because it's probably going to be the easiest to do. So what I want is the train line to come in, and then focus here, maybe? And I've got some fire departments, yeah, that's good. So the train line needs to come in either here, so they're not crossing in over roads. So that might mean this thing needs to come up here, and then I have to rebuild all of that. I don't know why there's some broken lines. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. Yeah, they seem fine to me. So I am going to need to rip up all of that. I'll probably move this to here, and then have the train line come in. So let me quickly get some of that done. And there we go. So I've got a little bit of a line there, and then the railway station there. So some people are going to be walking to here, which is probably not what I want, but it's probably the best I can do. I probably could put buses through here, but I'll worry about that later. So now comes the fun task of redoing every single one of these lines. I'm going to have to delete that one, which doesn't have much in it. Delete. And delete, and yes, I'm going to have a whole lot of unhappy people, but don't worry humans, don't worry Sims, I've got your train lines coming back very, very shortly. And let's see, so let's delete all of that and get started on it, and we can see just how far it reaches. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of this. Now our aim here is going to try and be as little disruptive as possible, so if there's a gap in it we will try and use it. So we're going to try and have 3 lines, I think. 1, 2, and then 3. I think maybe a 4th one through here. So maybe the 4th one will have a loop. Or maybe this top one will have a loop. Because one thing I am noticing is that these lines are going to be very long. So if we're going to have one, say, let's just get this one and go underground. If I have one like that, even it means that anyone going from the middle over here to down here, if they want to use public transport, they're just going to have to go all the way around. So that's where buses, I think, come in. So I'm going to have to join up the bus loops, the bus stations by going up and down, I think, which will be rather important. It's either that, or I do if I can figure it out. Oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted. It's either that, or I do a massive loop around like this and then do a smaller loop in here, which again still has the same problem. Because this area is so large, it means I'm going to have to really think about the public transport system in here if I want more people to be using it. But for the time being, let's get a couple of lines in, at least 1, 2, and 3, or 3, and then we can work out how we're going to get people in between them. Alright, so I think I've got a solution here. So I'm going to have the 3 lines just going 1, 2, and 3, but I'm also going to have a 4th line which weaves its way to the very south of Ashgard and comes through the station, and through the station. So I'm expecting these 3 to be rather busy so they can join up, and that should solve some of the problems of people having to go all the way in and out. Ideally, I suppose I should have another hub down here where the 3 stations line up, but there just isn't the room down here without destroying a whole lot of things. So I've had to make do. So now I need to figure out how I'm going to get these stations in. That one to there, to there, to there, to there, and then back again. You can see everyone's lighting up nice and green because they now have public transport again. So I'm going to fix up these lines. And then when I get to the end of the line, I want to make sure to select it so it's on the right side. So this line coming down here will go on the left station and continue on. So there is going to be no interference there, which is something I was a little bit concerned about when thinking about it earlier. But that should work very, very, very well, I think. So we're going to continue on with this, and we should be done very shortly. Okay, I've now recolored all the lines, made them top, middle, bottom, and south. And these ones, I did actually make a mistake here, because these ones on the left, as they're coming in, will go on the left side, or at least from here, and then they're coming back on the right, which does mean they interfere with these ones, but hopefully there aren't too many that will do so. And the same over here, And I did notice as I was killing off these lines to replace them that the circle where they reached isn't as large as I hoped. So bus lines in here will have to be set up at some point, I think, especially here where there's a massive gap where there's no stations. So we may need to get this line and bring it through, maybe. We'll think about what we need to do, and if we need to make changes, we will. And there we go. I didn't get everything I wanted done with the public transport. I still got to hook up this area over here, and if I want to, new areas over here. But I haven't yet got to that bit with the building. So over the next couple of episodes, I'm going to be expanding my people, because I have actually lost quite a number of people over the last little while. I'm not quite sure why. Might be to do with these abandoned things, which probably means I need to start building some industrial area, but we'll worry about that in the next episode. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.